Imagine the deepest, most primal fear you can feel, the kind that makes your blood run cold and your heart pound in your chest. Now, imagine a mother making a 911 call, her voice trembling, broken. She says, and I quote, "Please find her head." That's not a line from a horror movie. That was a terrifying reality for Heidi Knoll, a mother in Alton, Illinois, on a seemingly ordinary summer day. What she found inside her daughter's apartment wasn't just death. It was something far more unspeakable. Something that tore apart a peaceful community and exposed a darkness lurking beneath the surface. On June 9th, around 1 p.m., Heidi Knoll arrived at her 22-year-old daughter Liese Dodd's apartment. Liese was 8 months pregnant, and Heidi hadn't heard from her in over 15 hours. A mother's intuition is a powerful thing, and something felt terribly wrong. She let herself in. Within minutes, other residents could be seen opening their doors, their expressions mirroring Heidi's dawning horror. Heidi stepped back outside, visibly shaking. The 911 call she made moments later chilled responders to the bone. Police arrived swiftly. They made their way to Liese's apartment on the second floor. The door was unlocked. What they discovered inside was beyond comprehension. In her bedroom, they found Liese's lifeless body. But it wasn't just a murder. Her head was missing. It had been cut off, seemingly wrapped in a towel like a turban, but beneath it, nothing. "Please find her head," Heidi pleaded. No one else was in the apartment. There was no sign of a murder weapon, and there was no sign of Liese's head. Her killer had disposed of it elsewhere, desecrating her body and tearing her peaceful neighborhood apart. To understand how this horrific crime unfolded, we need to go back 24 hours, to a time when Liese Dodd was simply living her life, looking forward to a future that would never come. Liese was born in Alton, Madison County, Illinois, on August 14th, 1999. She was a bright, enthusiastic child with a deep love for animals. For her 10th birthday, instead of presents, she organized a fundraiser for a local no-kill animal shelter. This caring attitude stayed with her throughout her teenage years. She graduated high school in 2017 and worked at Dairy Queen, remembered by customers as a vibrant and friendly server. But she wasn't just socializing, she was saving up, determined to pursue a career in the medical field, following in her mother's footsteps. By June 2022, Liese was 8 months pregnant with a baby girl, whom the family affectionately called Baby Bean. Invitations for the baby shower had just been sent out. They were all excited, gathering items, eagerly anticipating the birth and everything that would follow. She was, in the words of her mother, just a loving soul, a beautiful soul. But beneath the surface of this hopeful life, a dark shadow loomed. Liese was in an on-again, off-again relationship with Deundrea Holloway, also an Illinois native and the same age as Liese. They'd been together for nearly 2 years. Deundrea, however, had his own struggles. He used substances and came from a difficult home life. According to his half-sister, PJ, he lived a shiftless lifestyle, often bouncing between homes when things went wrong with Liese. At one point, they were even homeless, living in a tent by Lake Litchfield. But by early 2022, they'd moved into an apartment in Alton. Yet, the problems persisted. Liese's old boss at Dairy Queen recounted a disturbing pattern. Liese would frequently come to work with a lot of black eyes, a lot of bruising on her arms. Initially, she made excuses about her dog, but eventually, she admitted they were always arguing and fighting. Her boss even witnessed Deundrea punch Liese in the face while they were in a car. The violence escalated. In July 2021, Liese ended up in the hospital with a broken nose and 2 black eyes after an incident with Deundrea. She once texted her boss, "My boyfriend beat me again, and I had to go to my mom's. They're wanting me to stay in a safe place because he's threatened before to harm us." Heidi, Liese's mother, even had an order of protection against Deundrea after he threatened to kill them. The relationship was a powder keg, waiting to explode. On June 5th, just days before the murder, Deundrea had been texting a friend about his poor mental state. He wrote, "I feel like it's all the emotions I've ever put to the side just coming out now at once. I don't know how to healthfully let out emotions without snapping or crying because I'm too pissed to talk." He sounded like a man at his breaking point. Then, on Tuesday, June 7th, Deundrea went missing. Liese, heavily pregnant and stressed, texted her mom at 9 p.m. "You think he'd just leave like this?" She fretted he'd taken clothes and left for good. Heidi tried to comfort her, even suggesting it might be a blessing in disguise if he left nonviolently. Liese responded, "And you've been set free." But the emotional turmoil ran deep. Liese confessed to her mother, "I broke a razor down and cut my leg because I told him I was just going to kill myself." If Deundrea was spiraling, so too was Liese. The next morning, June 8th, Deundrea still hadn't returned. Liese, anxious, contacted her landlord to check CCTV. The footage showed Deundrea leaving with his uncle Marty on Tuesday evening. Later, around 8 p.m., Deundrea's uncle messaged Liese, saying he was bringing Deundrea back and that everything was fine. Despite Heidi's deep distrust and warning for Liese to be careful, Liese went to pick him up. At 9:11 p.m. on June 8th, CCTV captured Liese and Deundrea arriving back at their apartment. While in the car, Liese sent her final text to her mother, "I'm trying to figure it out." This CCTV image is the last time Liese Dodd would ever be pictured alive. At 10:49 p.m., Heidi texted, "You okay?" She received no reply. By then, Liese was already dead. Over the next few hours, neighbors came and went, oblivious to the horror unfolding just above them. Neither Liese nor Deundrea were seen again until 11:57 p.m. That's when Deundrea emerged from the apartment, carrying a white laundry basket. He paused by Liese's car as if he'd forgotten the keys, then went back inside. A few minutes later, he reappeared, still with the laundry basket. He walked out of frame towards a nearby smoke shop and the dumpster behind it. CCTV from a local business captured the rest. At 1 minute past midnight, the white laundry basket, along with some clothes, was thrown into the dumpster. Police would later discover that laundry basket contained Liese's head. 2 hours later, Liese's car was gone. Deundrea had vanished. What happened in those 2 hours inside the apartment? The downstairs neighbors had unfortunately become accustomed to Liese and Deundrea's loud arguments. But the night of June 8th was different. Around 9:30 p.m., they heard muffled yelling, like not screaming, but yelling in a way kind of like in pain. Then the apartment started to shake. And then the screaming became really, really loud and really intense around 9:45 to 9:50 p.m. This was followed by 5 or 6 loud like thuds, each one growing louder, shaking their apartment. When asked what it sounded like, the neighbors struggled to find words, eventually comparing it to chopping wood, due to the steady, rhythmic nature of the blows. You gotta lift it up, you gotta hold it, and then you gotta put all your weight into it. And you kinda got a rhythm, they explained. After those chilling thuds, everything stopped. The screaming, the sounds, the shaking. Absolute silence. Deundrea, meanwhile, had gone to his mother's house. At around 2:30 a.m., his sister heard him banging on the door, pacing and acting nervous. The next morning, June 9th, PJ, his half-sister, found him in the bathroom, cutting off his dreadlocks, a hairstyle he hadn't cut in 2 years. He told her it was for a fresh start. He was visibly nervous. He then took the clothes he had been wearing, including a blue bucket hat and a hoodie, and disposed of them in the trash outside. These were the same clothes he was seen wearing in the chilling CCTV footage from the previous night. His cut-off dreadlocks were later found wrapped in toilet paper in the same trash can. Even more unsettling, Deundrea arrived driving Liese's black car, without Liese. His grandmother discovered he also had Liese's ID and debit card. When questioned, Deundrea offered no explanation, just looking in a daze or something. He even handed his grandmother 2 keys, claiming he found them on the ground. It was clear Deundrea was trying to cover his tracks, making himself less recognizable, discarding evidence, and ridding himself of Liese's possessions. He had also left Liese's car parked on the street with a handwritten "For Sale" sign in the window. The mounting evidence led police to execute a search warrant on Deundrea's mother's house. They found the discarded clothes and dreadlocks. There was no sign of Deundrea, but at 1:45 a.m. on June 10th, police in Gillespie, Illinois, took a John Doe into custody, who was soon identified as Deundrea Holloway. He had been arrested for possession of cannabis. His behavior during the arrest and subsequent interrogation was nothing short of manic. He paced, questioned officers repeatedly, laughed, and even began banging his head against the wall, requiring officers to restrain him. He refused to give his name, despite them already knowing it, and kept insisting he wanted to go to work. He claimed he was dissociated and had been prescribed medication. Eventually, he asked for a lawyer, and the interview was terminated. On June 13th, Deundrea Holloway was charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder, 2 counts of intentional homicide of an unborn child, human body offenses relating to motor vehicles, and concealment of homicidal death. Bond was set at $2 million. The case sent shockwaves through the community, especially concerning the murder of Liese and her unborn child. Deundrea's family acknowledged the extreme act of evil, but argued that the system had failed him, as they had been trying to get him help for his mental health for years. Deundrea was initially found mentally unfit to stand trial and underwent treatment. In January 2024, he finally entered a guilty plea. On January 17, 2025, Deundrea Holloway was sentenced to 60 years in prison. This included 30 years for murder, 20 for the homicide of the unborn child, and 10 for concealment, all to be served consecutively. He will serve at least 52 years before being eligible for release. There remain no clear answers as to why he killed Liese. Jealousy, stress, or a continued pattern of violence. We may never know the truth. Liese's family, especially her mother Heidi, has shown incredible strength. Heidi spoke powerfully after the verdict, thanking law enforcement and reflecting on the tragic outcome of a 2-year domestic violence relationship. Her words are a vital message. This didn't have to end this way. If you are in a domestic violence relationship, if someone is emotionally, mentally, or physically abusing you, make a safe plan to leave that relationship. If someone threatens to end your life, believe them. Your life depends on it. Liese's last act, her hand resting on a book about pregnancy, shows her last thoughts were of her unborn child. Her mother's GoFundMe for domestic violence resources has raised over $16,000 in her memory. As we end this tragic story, we leave you with a poem Liese once shared on her Facebook page, a poignant reflection on life, love, and self-worth. After a while, you learn the subtle difference between holding a hand and chaining a soul. And you learn that you really can endure, that you really are strong, and you really do have worth. Liese Dodd's story is a stark reminder of the hidden dangers of domestic violence and the devastating impact it leaves behind. Her life and the life of baby Bean were tragically cut short. What aspects of Liese's story resonated with you the most? Have you or someone you know experienced similar challenges? Share your thoughts respectfully in the comments below. And if this story has touched you, please share it to help raise awareness for domestic violence and ensure Liese's legacy continues to help others. Her life depended on it, and so might yours.